Okay, so we are back. It is end of day 2. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, and I owe you guys a video. I wanted to get something out before I turned in for the night and come back at it again tomorrow. So what have I done today? Basically a lot of soul searching and meditation, and there were some tears, and no, I'm just kidding. So I worked on graphics. I decided these were just playability of these was terrible. Basically makes it look like everything's out of focus. I tried to make some pulsating ones, and they just looked out of focus. So end of the day, I warned y'all earlier, I'm a terrible artist. So I went back to just basically a nice color palette with very basic shapes. And there you go. So those will be circles, and then where is it over here? So I've got circles, 40 pixels and 20 pixels, and then I've got squares that are 40 pixels, rounded cornered squares, and then 20 pixels, and then triangles, rounded corner triangles, 40 by 20. And I've tested these in another. Well, I don't mind admitting I'm doing some testing in here, and so been kind of using some of the graphics in here just to kind of test and see how they look like without messing with kind of my demo thing that I'm working on over here. And I'm only going to mess with this on screen, so everybody can follow along. Whatever I have at the end is how it's going to work. So these are the graphics I have. The palettes, so what I did for palettes is I went to this website, coolers.co, a great website for colors. I told you I would post whatever I used. So this site, I can't remember the exact ones I used, but basically you come in here and you can click on best, you can click on picks, latest. I like either doing best or picks. Those are usually the most popular or the best looking ones. And when you're in here, you just hit spacebar, and it gives you, and you just keep cycling through them. So down here, hit spacebar to go to the next page. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I found some in here. There's other generators online too for that, but these are the ones I found that I liked. And I actually already pulled those into Fireworks, which I'll pull up now. So Fireworks, here you go, here's my colors. You can see the ones I'm primarily using, I put boxes around just because I was like, well, wait, am I using that green or that green? And I started getting a little confused myself because I took 3 different palettes and said I like a couple of colors out of some different ones. And I kind of fused them together to kind of make my own palette, I guess. And some of these other colors I might use, we'll see. The ones that are circles, those are ones that I'm considering using as backgrounds. Haven't really decided yet, but we'll see. They're there. So that's how I kind of got my palettes. Other stuff that I did for graphics was menu items. I did some menu item stuff. I made some purple color controls. I won't lie, I pulled some of these straight from an old game I did. Well, actually not an old game, I just made it 2 weeks ago. Game slide. So these are, I changed the colors on them, but they're the same graphics I use. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. I made almost all of these graphics. In fact, I think I did make all of these graphics. Yeah, these ones I did. And so, I mean, they're open source. I'm giving them away with this whole program. So, don't need any attribution or anything for this. What else? Enemies, I decided not to use enemies. I'm just going to make the red circles, squares, and triangles. Killers, they'll kill people. I took the character, I took the glow off of the character. So it's just solid now. I need to go back and make another one so I have at least 2 to put in. So for backgrounds, I chose slate gray, which was basically this color here. And then decided that for a background for the gameplay it wasn't dark enough, so I darkened it a little, and I still call it slate, but it's almost black. And I'm going to play with that some more too, and maybe make some kind of scrolling background or some kind of more interesting background. Then you get into actions, and I straight up created these today. I looked on the internet, found a lightning bolt, and then kind of drew something that looked like it in Fireworks. And I'll show you that here. So here's the lightning bolt. I literally used the pen tool and drew this today. So that wasn't terribly hard. And then I'll open up, let me see if I can find it, Common Library. It's not going to show up in this squished up menu, but I'll I'll open this one. And in here, this was basically a rounded polygon tool that's built in with Fireworks that you can make rounded curves and do different things with. So I made the hexagon little power-up thing, so undo all that. But anyway, that was pretty simple, easy. Wasn't much to it to make that. Close, won't save. Let's see. Again, these graphics, I just literally made them today, and I'm going to give them away. So if you want to use them, download the source files whenever this is all done and said and done, and you'll be able to get it. And then on top of that, I also just used the same hexagons, changed the color schemes a little, and made some numbers for them. Let's see, what else can we get into? Backgrounds, characters. Not going to use enemies, menu items, circle controls, purple background, and purple controls. That's going to take some work. My palettes and the trails from yesterday, possible graphics. That was where I was storing some stuff earlier. Screenshots for the blog, and that's it for that. So I got about 10 minutes left on here that I wanted to work tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and start replacing the graphics on here. So these graphics suck, and we're going to get rid of them. So I'm going to Control S now, because BuildBox is known to crash whenever you're deleting stuff like this off of the out of the objects panel over here. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit slow tonight. I'm a little tired. It's been a long day. I got rid of the donuts altogether, not going to use those anymore. The star, I'm still going to leave that because he's on the end board and I don't want to delete that off right now. I haven't done an end graphic yet, so we'll leave that as is. Let's see, logic, labels, those are nothing. Character, so if you want to replace a character on here, it's easier than deleting, adding a new one in and changing the parameters around. It's easier to just drag, and you can drop right on top of that and it changes it. Boom. And go ahead and check the collision shape again, because that's going to change. And go right up to the edge, call that good. When you're doing this, you never want to go bigger, because then when the object hits another object, say an enemy, and it kills them, and to them it looks like they never even touched the enemy, your end user is going to be pretty ticked off at you that you set it up the collision shapes that way. So always just keep them either on or one inside of your object, and then if they die, there's no arguing about it. I like to try to do it as close as possible to the edge. Some people go in a little. I try to get it right on it. Alright, so now I am going to start importing some objects, and I'll squish this over a little. We don't need all that. Get some of this in here so you can see what I'm doing. Pull some of this over, and that's irrelevant. Okay. Circles, we will go ahead and pull in, and you got to do them one at a time. So I'll pause this in a second, but we're going to add these in as object. Object. And the benefit of doing it this way, one after another, and here is, and it depends on how you want to do it. Maybe you want all your blues together, maybe you want all your greens together. I want all my circles together. I want all my circles together, then I want all my squares together, and then I want all my triangles together. And I want them biggest and then smallest, biggest and then smallest. And then what that does is over here it saves you the trouble of having to rearrange everything and dragging that all the way up to the top and waiting on that. If you get it all right from the get-go, it makes it easier when you come in here later and you're wanting to put like just circles on, or maybe just green stuff, however you're designing your game. Me personally, I like doing it this way. So I'm going to pause it right now and go ahead and import all the circles, squares, and triangles. Alright, that's done. So everything's been added in over here. Now I have circles, squares, triangles, big first, and then little, so big circles, big squares, little squares, and I can start adding those onto the screen. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add in action items. And so I spent a little time today doing some design, gameplay thinking. I spent actually quite a bit of time on that, figuring out what I was going to offer in this game, exactly how the game's going to go, trying to kind of just brainstorming really, and it still could change. Anything, it's all up in the air. Maybe you guys start commenting and you're like, hey, you're crazy, man, you should do it like this because it makes more sense. But right now I'm going to set it up kind of like basically you always start at the same point and you run with the game. You go through the game. If you die, you always restart back at the beginning. But I'm going to make the levels randomly generate, so procedural generation, I guess is another word for it, which basically means, say I have 30 levels and they're all, you don't know when they're going to appear. They're going to appear at different times in different orders, so you're not going to get the same thing every time. But so, and for that, the actions I came up with were invincibility. We'll add that, kill all, so if you touch this or you use it, activate it, it kills everything that's currently on the screen. Strike will allow you to like blow through an enemy wall or a line of enemy players or characters, line of enemies, basically push through quickly and kill anything in your way. So those are going to be the my three action items, and then points also get added as actions. But we'll have 10 points, 50 points, and 100 points. We might add more later, but that's just what I'm going to start with now. And I've already got some costs in mind for what the action items, the power-ups are going to be, what they're going to cost. And then I'm also going to make coin packages, so that'll be my monetization technique or angle, is going to be a shop where you can buy more coins to get, basically to buy these power-ups and to help you get further into the game and make more points, or to basically get a high score. I mean, that's going to be the ultimate goal of the game, is to get the highest score, which I also came up with today. So you might be thinking you're only going to have 20 levels. That doesn't sound very fun. That doesn't sound challenging. What if you master it? You could go for like hours doing that. So one of the things I tinkered around with in my and the other kind of test build box file I'm working with was time warp, speed increase, and min and max game speeds. So I think what I came up with, and I've only got a couple minutes to explain this, so I'm going to try to be quick. From the actual build box instructions, or manual if you will, which is lacking, I guess would be an okay way to describe it, in clarity, and a lot of questions get asked on the forums to try to clarify some of this stuff. So I'm going to tell you the best I can give it from what it says is time warp, how long to wait before adding speed increase to the current game. Speed increase, amount to add to speed increase. So I've tried going extreme numbers on these, and the optimal settings I could kind of come up with today were time warp of 25, and logically to me that makes it sound like after 25 seconds or pixels or milliseconds, I don't know, the game is gonna speed increase. And I found 0.00, I believe it was 5 was the best settings. And basically what that means is the game's going to start out slow, and I'm going to have to change that. I think I was using 100. I'll verify this and maybe change it tomorrow, with a max of 250. So the game's going to start out with a minimum speed of 100, maximum speed of 250. And it's to get to 250 every 25 whatever that unit of measure is. I mean, it says time and how long to wait, so you think time, but it's not seconds, because it clearly speeds up a lot faster than that. The speed increase will be, and I don't know if this is a multiplier or a pixels or what, it doesn't say, it just says amount to add to speed increase. That's literally what it says for the damn description. But playing with it today, I mean, went all the way up into the thousands and below the thousands. These were kind of the optimal settings I came up with, and I'll talk more about that probably in the next video tomorrow. But that's kind of where we're at today, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just run over a few minutes, and because I want to start adding some blocks and do a little demo here. So real quick, I'm going to add some blocks, and I'm going to pause this. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and unpause. I just deleted all the actions that I added off. I want to go ahead and record this because I don't want anybody to be asking, well, how did that happen? I don't understand that. What did you do there? You paused it for a minute and I didn't quite get it. So all I've done is I've dragged in a red block here, 40 pix red block. I'm going to change it to enemy, and I described what the difference between enemy and platform was yesterday. Destroy character is what's going to happen, so he'll destroy this character if he runs into it. And we're going to leave him sleeping. We'll get into some of that other stuff later. Fixed is fine. I'm going to add some yellow blocks in here. They automatically get dropped in as platform. Fixed. I'm going to change this to physics though. I'm not going to give it any velocity. I'm not going to give it any destroy, kill, any of that stuff. I'm just going to duplicate it over and then maybe make some of these. And I really started playing with this today and realized I was kind of making this look a lot like another game that's kind of popular, unintentionally, promise, fingers cross my heart, whatever, completely unintentional. I was like, I think this kind of feels like that game I saw that one time. I couldn't even remember the name of it. I had to go search through the build box list of games in their showcase to actually find a game that I thought it might look like, and sure enough, I was like, I'm kind of making a game that looks like that. So I had to change my graphics around a little bit, and I didn't want to copy anyone. So these are all physics, and you'll see what that means in a minute. And I'll leave this one as a fixed object, so it's not physics. He'll be fixed, and let's see what that does real quick. I'll put this up here so we can die after that. We're going to play and start. And coming up here, see those guys move, hits the blue one, and oh, there were some other settings I did on the other one, but that kind of gives you the idea there. If I hit that, I die. I can try again and wait this really ridiculously long time to get there. Yeah, there's some friction and some other stuff going on here that I need to toy with. But so let's do that real quick. I only want to go about another minute. There's nothing that says I have to stay under 15 minutes. That's an old YouTube thing. If you're not like, if they don't like you, they limit you to 15. But I'm just trying to keep it under 15. So friction, let's drop that down to all the way to like 2. And then velocity drag to, I don't know, we'll try 5 and see what that does. And then we just refresh. Let's go over here and change this to something a lot shorter. Let's change it to like 200 so we don't have to wait forever. End distance will be 200. And then let's come up here. We'll drag this, call this start 200 and end 4,000. Yeah, sure. Okay, perfect. Get that. We'll restart one more time. Start. Now we don't have to wait as long to get to this. Now let's see. Oh yeah, that's a little more. Boom. Nice. But that blue one, you see, doesn't move no matter what you do. You're not going to move that blue one. And the yellow ones can't move it either. They're just going to bounce off it. And I didn't show that very good there. And that's it for that. So let's restart. And I want to try to... Can't even get him to bounce off the blue one. I can't even get him to hit the blue one. It's like he's invincible. I haven't fixed any of these collision shapes yet, so these are just all the stock. They're going to all be squares, which is what they all are actually. Alright, cool. That's it. I'm not going to go any further. I'm 4 minutes over. I'll do more tomorrow, but I just wanted to at least get caught up with today and everything I did today so I don't forget anything. It's been busy. I've been going to a lot of websites, getting a lot of ideas, thinking about the gameplay a lot. Toying with the shapes, colors, sizes, just kind of playing with it. So I know I wrapped all this up in less than 20 minutes, but it's been literally from the time I woke up about 8 this morning to a couple hours ago. I mean, I took breaks in between. I got kids, so stuff goes on around the house, but for the most part, I spent the majority of the day sitting here either thinking about or designing or coming up with ideas. So that's that. Hopefully tomorrow's going to go a lot faster now that I have the gameplay in mind and I have the graphics already set up. So like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Go check out anetlabs.com. You can go check out the other game I made, Slide, while you're waiting for me to throw up the next video. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.